Good day and welcome. I'm Mr. Simons. In this lesson, we'll be calculating accrued value if we invest, where we have extra deposits and withdrawals, right? So, Musa Vilekazi is saving for university and decides to put his money in a fixed deposit, paying 12% per annum compounded annually. Starts his saving with 2,000 Rand. After 3 years, he deposits another 5,000. A final deposit of 10,000 is made 8 years after the initial deposit. How much money is accumulated in a fixed deposit at the end of 10 years? Now the trick to this here is we treat each investment as an investment on its own. So initially he saved 2,000 Rand, right? That 2,000 Rand is going to be investment for 10 years. So 2,000 Rand. Interest is 12% per annum compounded annually, so 12 divided by 100 would give me 0.12, and that's 10 years. Alright. After 3 years, he deposits another 5,000. So 3 years has passed. If I take 3 years away from 10 years, he's depositing 5,000 for 7 years, right? So 10 minus 3, 7 years. So investment of 5,000 Rand, the interest is still 12%. And the time period is 7 years. Alright. Then he makes a final deposit of 10,000 Rand 8 years after the initial deposit. So 8 years after, so 10 minus 8 means there are 2 years left. So technically he's investing 10,000 Rand for 2 years. Alright. So as I said, when I say I treat it as a separate investment, my accrued value or future value equal P1 plus I to the power n for the first one, plus P1 plus I to the power n for the second one, plus P1 plus I to the power n for the third one. So initially 2,000 Rand, interest was 0.12 and their time period 10. Second one invested 5,000 Rand for 7 years at 12% interest. Third one invested 10,000 at 12% for 2 years. Work out each one separately. For the 2,000, he makes 6,211 Rand 70. For the 5,000, he would make 11,053.41. For the 10,000, 12,540. Add them all together. So after 10 years, he has 29,809 Rand 11 cents. Right? Now that's just extra deposits. The next one we're going to look at withdrawals as well. Alright, now Mr. Gamede invests 50,000 Rand into a savings account at 12% per annum. Very important, compounded monthly. So that means my interest I'm going to divide by 12. There's 12 months in a year. My time period will be multiplied by 12. For his son's university fees in 12 years' time. After 5 years, he adds another amount of 3,000 Rand. And after 7 years, he withdraws 7,000. How much is available for university fees? Remember, everything goes in for 12 years. So his first deposit of 50,000 must be the whole time period of 12 years. So 50,000, interest 12%, 12 divided by 100 gives me 0.12. Compounded monthly, therefore divided by 12. 12 years, 12 times the 12 months in a year gives me 144 interest periods that he will receive. Then 5 years, after 5 years he adds another 3,000, so 12 minus 5 years gives me 7 years. So he's investing 3,000 Rand for 7 years, so 7 times 12 gives me 84 interest payments. P is 3,000, interest is 0.12 divided by 12. And then after 7 years, he withdraws 7,000. So P is 7,000, interest 0.112 over 12. And if he withdraws after 7 years, then technically he's receiving on the 7,000, he's receiving interest for 12 years, right? So after 7 years, we have to subtract the extra 5,000 Rand interest that's there with the 50,000. So that 5 years, 12 minus 7, 5 times 12, 60. So he's going to lose 60 interest payments if he withdraws 7,000. I hope it makes sense. So every time you withdraw, you look at your total time period and we subtract from the year you withdraw so that we know how many years you're losing money. So 12 minus 7 gives me 5 years. So 5 times 12 gives me 60 interest payments I'm losing. So there again, my equation, P1 plus I to the power n, 3,000 invested, so plus P1 plus I to the power n, 7,000 is withdrawn, so therefore minus P1 plus I to the power n. So 50,000, 1 plus 0, 12 over 12, 144 for n. 3,000, 1 plus 0, 12 over 12, 84 periods. So you see in the 144 and 84, we've included the whole time period for 12 years interest. So when I draw 7,000 rand, I have to take away the extra interest that is receiving for the 5 years. So therefore n there is 60. Punch in my calculator, you'll get the 3 values there. You can check. We add and subtract, we end up with 203,734 rand 6 cents. So hope you understand how we work with withdrawals. Next problem we'll again look at some withdrawals, but a little bit more complex. Alright, Tebogo made an initial deposit of 15,000 rand into account that paid interest at 9.6% compounded quarterly. Very important, quarterly. So that's every 3 months of the year. No? 6 months later, she withdraws 5,000 rand from the account. 2 years after the initial deposit, she deposits another 3,500 into this account. How much does she have in the account 3 years after initial deposit? Right, so we started off, vested 15,000. That there must be the whole time period, which is 3 years. It's compounded quarterly, so 3 times 4. So I'm going to have or receive interest 12 times in that period. Right? My 9.6%, 9.6 divided by 100 gives me 0.096 compounded quarterly divided by 4. 6 months later, she withdraws 5,000 from the account. So P is 5,000. Interest is still 0.096 over 4. Right? And if she withdraws 6 months later, what extra time period she earning interest, and we have to remove that interest from the account. So 3 times 4, as you can see, is 12. 6 months, remember every 3 months is a quarter. So 6 divided by 3 gives me 2 quarters. Right? So all in all, she's getting 10 quarters extra interest. So we have to remove the 10 quarters. Right? So there, 6 months, every quarter. So every 3 months, that gives me 2. So after 2 quarters, she's withdrawing 5,000. So that means 12 minus the 2 gives me 10 quarters. My apologies. 2 years after the initial deposit, she deposited another 3,500 into this account. Right, so 2 years later, so for 1 year, she's still investing. So 3,500, interest 0.096 over 4, and n equal the 1 year times 4 from quarter, which gives me 4. That's the difficult part done. Now we just substitute. So I have P1 plus I to the power n, that there minus, and that should read plus. Right, so there 15, 1 plus 0.096 over 4, 12, minus the 5,000, 1 plus 0.0964, and the 10 periods I'm losing, plus the 3,500 for the last year, so n is 4. Punch in your calculator, and that's what we end up with. There, that should read minus, and this plus, but they have fixed it in the bottom line. So my apologies for that error. Alright, but I hope you understand. Please like, share, and subscribe. God bless. Bye.